What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to break it down. We finally have, with the newest release of Acqua di Gio Parfum, 3 different oil concentration versions uniformly. Here we have the Eau de Parfum, last year's release at the recording of this, and then of the original Acqua di Gio. So we have the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, and the Parfum. So we now have all 3. And honestly, there's some differences here from the way they smell to the way they perform to the situations and seasons they suit best. So I felt it was best to deep dive and discuss the 3 concentrations and which do I believe is the best for your money. So stay tuned. So we'll start with a quick overview of how all 3 smell, starting with the original. Now, obviously, this is reformulated. This is not a bottle from the mid-90s when this first came out. All of these are perfumed by famed perfumer Alberto Morillas. Masterful, like the king of creating the fresh fragrance, I guess is how you can look at it. So with this, they now come in this 100 ml bottle, and this is one of my wife's all-time favorites. She loves when I wear this. That's where that dent comes from. This has that traditional cologne smell to it. It's aquatic, it's synthetic, it's fresh, there's citruses, there's a lot of green freshness to this fragrance. It's touted for being an aromatic aquatic, but it definitely has its share of light, watery florals and a lot of green fresh notes to it, and a nice woody musky tone in the dry down. It's timeless. It still smells great. It's the #1 selling men's fragrance of all time. There's still guys to this day, childhood friends of mine, that this is what they wear. When they run low on a bottle, they buy another bottle. There's tons of guys in the world that's what they do. They just wear this and run with it. And you know what? I'm not going to knock it. It still works. This will always be good. This is never going away. It's the originator, and it spawned great flankers, most notably the 2 most recent ones, with this being Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. Now, this is, at first I was a little skeptical when I got a decant last year when it first came out. And I was like, this is too much like this mixed with Profondo. So it's got more of an aquatic tone than the original. And it's got that orange note, that green mandarin note from Profondo, which for those of you that don't know, that's the blue bottle, the extremely synthetic but very oceanic, the bluest of them, hence the blue color. It has that orange note very prominent, so it's like a combination of the 2. But the more you let this one dry down, the more it smells like a higher oil concentration of the original. So I do believe it to be the appropriate fragrance to be Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. Literally, at the recording of this, I wore it yesterday. This is beautiful. Another one, my wife loves all 3. Let's just get this out the way. She loves the DNA. She loves all 3. Big fan. With this one, you could expect to get the heritage of this scent profile with more of a modern touch. Like I said, it is a little bit more aquatic, but it doesn't get away from that green core, the green freshness of the original with some enhanced orange. Like I said, that's the main citrus that's going to play a role here. You will smell this green mandarin note from the start. And then this is the newest version. This is Acqua di Gio Parfum. So this is a glorified rebottling of Acqua di Gio Profumo, the other translucent black bottle, which I've always said was the best version, and I don't think it'll ever be topped. I still, in this moment, think that's the best version of Acqua di Gio ever to come out. So what you can expect here is, again, you have that aquatic tone. You do get a little bit of a citrus smell, but here the greens are intensified even more. It's dominated by rosemary with a nice earthy patchouli. A lot of green spice going on here. It's spicier than the previous versions, where you got a little bit of fresh green spice here. It was enhanced a little further in the Eau de Toilette, with this being the spiciest of the 3, but most notably rosemary, a green cooking spice, and you have incense here. Now, the reason I say it's a reformulation, rebottling of Profumo is the greens are intensified, the incense is calmed down just a little bit. It's basically a fresher take on Profondo. So it's not exactly the same fragrance, but it's almost. It's literally smells just like a reformulation. So you get all of those oceanic aquatic nuances, but there's more dark essences here. It's a little bit earthy green from this patchouli, and the frankincense plays a prominent role here. I would say this is the most grown-up, refined, and dressy of the three, for sure. This one, in my opinion, is the best smelling of the three because it just speaks to my taste. Because, like I said before, Acqua di Gio Profondo, to me, is the best version they'll ever put out. So if this is 90% that, of course, of these three, I believe this to smell the best, with a close second, believe it or not, coming with the Eau de Parfum. I've grown to have a real appreciation for the Eau de Parfum, and then for nostalgia's sake, this will never not smell good, is the Eau de Toilette. Now, in regards to performance, there's varying performance for two of the three, I guess you could say, because when we look at the Eau de Toilette, it used to perform better years ago. People romanticized the way this performed. Obviously, things changed with reformulations and guidelines and IFRA compliance and everything over the years, but I still get pretty good performance out of this. I still get every bit of 6 hours easily on my skin. Some people will say 2 hours. There's always that standard bullshit you'll hear on the internet of 20 minutes and it's gone. That's for literally every fragrance ever made, even ones touted to be monstrous nuclear performers. There's people that are going to type that in a comment somewhere that 20, 30 minutes and it's gone. So I'm not saying there's people that don't get that from this. It's just not my experience. I get about 6 hours still. This is a relatively new bottle. This is like a 2018 bottle. So it's not like it's some vintage old thing from the early 2000s or mid to late 90s. So decent performer. I would say temper your expectations if you're looking for something all day, but it does reach out and grab. It still has that ability. That's why it's still so heavily sold. Because in the first hour to hour and a half, really, this is captivating. It is bright. It is airy. It is super fresh. It's super familiar because it's been around for so long and so many people have worn it over the years, and it's super attractive. So performance on this one in the 6 hour range and longevity for me personally. Projection is on the arm's reach, moderate, average type of side, and then same thing with sillage is in the moderate to mild range. Now, as far as the Eau de Parfum, this is a little bit stronger. You can expect about 2 hours of projection. You can expect between 8 and 10 hours of longevity, and you can expect more on the moderate side of sillage. This one's a bit stronger and heftier. You will get stronger whiffs of it throughout your day. So across the board, this is a superior performer to the Eau de Toilette. Again, 8 to 10 hours of longevity, which is great. Projection is slightly better than arm's reach for the first hour. Into the second hour, you're still pumping out several feet away. It really pushes off the skin for the first 2 hours. And then the remaining life of it, you're going to easily smell yourself. All day yesterday, I could smell myself, no problem. My wife kept talking about how I still smelled good randomly throughout the day. It's a great performer across the board. Not quite a beast, though. And then as far as the Parfum, this kind of falls in line with the Eau de Parfum. I've been getting more in the 9 to 10 hour range, so we can call it 8 to 10 hours of longevity. Projection, same thing, a little bit beyond arm's reach for about into the 2 hour range. 2 hours of really good projection here. I would say it puts it in the really strong territory. And then again, moderate to slightly to moderate mild sillage. This one's a little bit better in the sillage department than the Eau de Parfum, but not by a great deal. I would say as far as the scent bubble and the strength of the whiffs that you'll get throughout your wearing, this one slightly edges out the Eau de Parfum. But I would say overall, these are pretty much what and what with performance, with this one being the weakest of the three. Versatility, seasons, situations. Where would I wear these? So the Eau de Toilette, this is glorified for summer. Spring and summer, you can wear this year round. Like I said in the beginning of this video, there's guys, this is their signature scent. It doesn't matter when, where, what it's like outside. They wear this. I get it. But as far as the ideal appropriate situations, this is more of a spring to summer fragrance. Daytime wear. Obviously a safe wear to work, more on the casual up to semi-casual range. Here, similar. I would say this is more spring, summer, fall because of its density and its strength and the enhancement of the greens here. I would say across the board, this one dresses up a little bit better, still semi-casual, semi-formal range to casual. And then again, add a season to this. I would say spring, summer, fall. This is even better as a signature scent. To me personally, if you live in a warmer climate, this is absolutely one you could just roll with nonstop. This can be your everyday wear. And then the Parfum, this one can be year-round. It has all of the freshness you could want for the warm weather. It's got darker nuances and denser sillage for the cooler weather. This is the four-season fragrance for sure. Ideally, I would say spring, fall, winter. that the other two are a little bit better for summer, but this is still going to work just fine in summer. But this is the one that dresses up the best of the three. Just like Profumo, this is the one I would want to wear in semi-casual, semi-formal, and above. If you're a fan of the DNA, you want freshness, you want something really attractive that's easy to wear, but a little bit more refined, a little bit more grown up, maybe not quite as playful. That's where the incense patchouli combo really comes into play here, and it's a little bit stronger sillage. It's a less is more fragrance. You can spray 2, 3, 4 sprays, and people will smell you. You can leave a little room for discovery. You don't need to make a big pronunciation of, hey, I'm here, where the other two fragrances are a little bit louder at first. This one's stronger overall with the sillage and the scent bubble that you're going to live in for the hours that this is on your skin. So I say this one is the best all year round. Predominantly 3-season idealistically would be spring, fall, and winter, and this one dresses up the best. Business professionals, I would say this is the one. Final thoughts. If I could just pick one, I'm picking this one. It's that simple. I mean, a lot of you assume this if you saw my full review on this, or if you were paying attention when I said Profumo, to me, is the best version they've ever put out, and this is 90% roughly of Profumo. It's like a fresh reformulation of Profumo, so this one speaks to me the most. I think this is the ideal version. From what I understand, I'm not confirming anything, they're phasing out Profumo. This is replacing it, and it's adding uniformity, because now we have the named Parfum flanker, even though it already was with the name Profumo. But I think this, if I had to just pick one, would be the one, with this being a follow-up to a close second with the Eau de Parfum. Again, I'm not hating on the Eau de Toilette guys, but I've said this many times over the last few years that I love and respect this fragrance for what it is and for what it's done for men's fragrances. But I believe every flanker, every version that's come after, including Profondo Lights, Absolute Instinct, and so on, I like all of them better. They all have something different to offer, but the thing that I love the most is they always tie back to this DNA. This whole line is true flankers to this fragrance. They all have the smell of this hiding somewhere, whether it's in the top, in the heart of the fragrance, or as it dries. They all have relevance to this. So I would say kudos to Armani Beauty for sticking true to the original's DNA when making these flankers that are pretty much yearly at this point. But again, if I'm taking one, I'm taking the newest release, Acqua di Gio Parfum. Well, that is my comparison, breakdown, and somewhat fragrance battle between Acqua di Gio, the original Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, and the newest release, the Parfum. I hope this was helpful for some of you. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. Have you tried all three? What's your favorite version? Are you an EDP guy? Are you still the original's the king? I get it, because if I was to dub one fragrance as the king of men's fragrances, it's still this. People can say Aventus all they want. While when it comes to popular niche, yeah, Aventus is probably the #1 seller for years and years. But when it comes to overall men's fragrance sales, this will never be touched, I don't think. I don't think it's ever going to happen, because the sales are still strong today in 2023 for this 1996 release. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these three versions of Acqua di Gio, or any of the other ones, the Profondos, the Absolutes, and so on, you give them a spray now, you're bound to thank me later, because it'll probably be the best freshie in your collection. Have a good one, guys.